It's recording. I got no music. I got nothing.
What's going on?
Check, check, check. I can hear myself. Just can't hear you.
Not sure what's going on. Welcome back to the program, segment 2. Struggling with the intro music today. Struggling with everything, really. Video camera, intro music,
Microphone battery.
microphone,
We don't even know why the battery's in there, but it's there.
pronunciation, everything, really. But, promised a poll update when we get back, so I'll provide you with that. Looks like Dayton is leading the way in the poll. Be sure to go to the tdshow.com, vote on the poll. Most likely underdog to make the Sweet 16. Dayton, Stephen F. Austin, Harvard, Mercer, or North Dakota State.
I'm sticking with Mercer.
Well, it's not necessarily which team you think's the best, because the best team could play a better team than the rest of them. But that said, I mean, Tennessee's not a great team by any means.
I think Harvard has the least shot.
Yeah, playing Michigan State will not be easy.
We'll see what happens with Dayton and Syracuse. If Syracuse decides to play, they don't have a shot. If Syracuse plays like they have been, it's going to be a game. But anyway.
So get on there, vote on the poll question, get on our Twitter, Facebook page, leave us a message about it. Give us a call, 502-509-3190. That's 502-509-3190. I want to hear your thoughts.
And remember, all today's callers and guests are brought to you by Hoover Auto Parts. Hoover Auto Parts are the most reliable auto parts in the industry and sure to keep you on the road to the most extreme conditions.
All right, so I promised everybody a strong words from a manly man guarantee. I will not be able to play the intro music for some unbeknown reason to me, though. But my guarantee today, of the 5 teams we have in the poll question, the Cinderellas, 3 of them, a majority, make it to the Sweet 16.
Do you have a number, or the names, or are you just saying that 3 out of 5 will make it?
I'm just saying 3 out of 5 will make it. I think Stephen F. Austin will make it. I think North Dakota State could make it. And like you said, you think Mercer would probably make it. And I think Dayton can make it. So I think we could see 4 out of 5. But I will guarantee you that the majority make it. 3 out of 5.
There you have it in strong words. 3 out of 5 teams make it.
All right, so staying with the bracket. Talking about the games we have coming up today. First game coming on at 11:15, Pittsburgh and Florida. Who do you like?
Here's the thing. I like Florida based on what we know, but Pittsburgh played a lot better than they've been playing. I haven't been real high on them this year. I'm going to go with Florida in this game, and I think Florida can win it by 12, 15 points.
Even though it's a 1-9 game, it's probably the hardest game to call of the day.
Yeah, because you don't know what Pittsburgh's going to do.
It's a toss-up. I think Florida wins, though. I got them winning my bracket. Going to keep my faith. Still don't have much faith in Pittsburgh. I mean, we saw Colorado throughout the year didn't play real well away from home, but played really well at home, so that could be a contributing factor, too. Next game of the day, starting at 2:45, St. Louis and Louisville. Louisville.
I like Louisville in this game. They played pretty well in their last game. They looked all right.
I mean, that Manhattan team is a good team, just like Mercer.
Yeah. There were a lot of people that had Manhattan beating Louisville. I thought they were just UK fans. I don't know, but
well, that was probably popular opinion among them.
We did. Tony Hyde, the president of Evanston State Bank in Monroe County, had Mercer beating Duke and Manhattan beating Louisville. Pure spite, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'd imagine he didn't have Tennessee winning the game either.
I don't know. Can't remember. I could look and see. Do we have audio now?
We might. Here, we'll test her out real quick here.
There we go.
We will now have audio. There we go. All right. I think Louisville will probably win too. I don't think St. Louis should even be in this game.
No, I think St. Louis.
NC State, like we said, had every chance to win, and I think agreeing with Coach K on this. I think the A10 is so overrated to get 6 teams in the tournament.
Oh, I know.
And I guess St. Louis is the only one out of the 6, I believe, looking at the bracket here, is the only one that Dayton. So there was
Dayton
2.
And St. Louis.
Dayton and St. Louis are the only 2 that advanced, and they both, Ohio State and North Carolina State, both had shots to win the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could say anybody's overrated this time of year, but the A10 getting 6 teams I thought was ridiculous to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, normally I try not to complain too much about how the bracket's set up and who gets in and who doesn't. But this year, I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot of funny business going on.
It was weird. It was weird this year. Maybe they wanted to make this a disaster so that their playoff selection for football won't look so bad.
That's true.
I don't know.
And you got to imagine the people picking this bracket are probably more intelligent on the subject than the people that they have that are going to be picking the football bracket.
What do you got against Condi?
Well, I just don't know that she knows anything about college football.
Archie Manning.
Maybe so.
Pretty versed in college football.
Why do you need Condoleezza Rice on there? Yep.
I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Rooney rule.
So, all right, third game of the day, Texas and Michigan. Who do you like?
I want to say I've liked Michigan most of the year. I liked how Texas played against Arizona State, but I'm still going to take Michigan. I picked Michigan when I filled out my bracket. I've liked Michigan most of the year. They've played their best against better teams,
That's right.
Which is something that Michigan and Indiana, who didn't make the tournament. I want to talk about Indiana in a minute, but Michigan kind of has that Indiana effect where they play their best against better teams, and the tournament's set up for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all of the top-tier Big Ten teams. It seems like that's what they do.
Yeah.
They play well against the other top-tier Big Ten teams, but then they lose against the bottom half.
Exactly.
I like Michigan. I told you when I was filling out my bracket, I picked with my heart instead of my head. I should have had Michigan going out instead of Duke. And obviously, I should have. It would at least get me one more game, possibly, right?
Right.
But
I do have in my bracket, I have Michigan coming out of this region.
I mean, Texas has been all over the place all year. It's hard to say what you'll get there, too.
Up and down. They've looked like a top 5 team in the country, and they've looked like a lower 25 team in the country. So I don't know.
So I mean, it should be a good game. But I
it's
think
two
Michigan
different
pull
styles. Texas is obviously a very physical, kind of run and gun team. Michigan is a wear you down team. Run their offense through and wear you down on defense. Shoot it outside. We'll see what happens. And if it's called the way the games have been being called, I think Michigan has a big advantage there.
If it's called like the way the games were yesterday evening, I feel sorry for everybody watching because that was terrible. Fourth game of the day, North Dakota State and San Diego State.
This is one of the. I've got San Diego State coming out in my bracket, but I didn't have North Dakota State winning. I had Oklahoma winning. I'm not sold on San Diego State, but
I'd like to see North Dakota State win. I had Oklahoma winning this game. They're not in it.
Exactly.
So, hey, let's pull for the Summit League. Even though the Mountain West has proved over the past couple of years that they have some pretty decent competition out there. Maybe more so than the A10. Fifth game.
Best game of the day, in my opinion, coming up right here that we're about to talk about.
Dayton and Syracuse.
I have no idea. I mean, I'm not even going to pick a team because I don't know.
I mean, if Syracuse shows up, I don't think it'll be a game.
Yeah,
but
they're going to show up part of the game. They're going to show up for 15 minutes because they do that every game. Or can they show up for 30 minutes? Can they show up for even 25 minutes? Can they play like Syracuse has played all year during the first half of the year? Then it shouldn't be a game. It should be Syracuse by 20 points. But if Dayton plays like they did the night before and Syracuse plays like they did to end the season, Jim Boeheim's going to get thrown out, and Dayton's going to win. So I can't. I know this is sports radio, and we're supposed to have answers, but I don't have an answer in this game. I
feel like Dayton could easily upset them. I mean, it's just you don't know. You never know what you're going to get.
I had Ohio State beating them in my bracket.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, says a lot for us. Smart guys. Two teams that looked really good yesterday, Oregon and Wisconsin. Oregon won by 21. Wisconsin, even though it was close, the first 10 minutes ended up winning by 40.
Wisconsin started to play like Wisconsin was. They fit the bill. They played like we were told they were going to play yesterday towards the second half of the game, and that's a wear-you-down defense. That's what they're known for, shut-down defense and shooting the ball well, and they did that. Oregon put the crush on BYU, who, like I said, came out of the division with Gonzaga there, and just haven't. Neither one of those teams had played anyone, but in what I'd seen of BYU, they looked all right. But Oregon shocked me. I'm still going with Wisconsin here. I don't think that Oregon will be able to score enough points to beat Wisconsin over their defense.
I was never sold on Wisconsin all year. I would have put Louisville or Duke at a 2 seed before I put them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying that they played well all year.
Right.
I'm saying, but they played like they were, like everyone said they were going to play during their last game.
I think I have Wisconsin winning this game in my bracket, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to say that Oregon upsets them this game. I just don't have a lot of faith in the Badgers.
Quack, quack, quack.
All right. A game that hopefully will be interesting. We both think Michigan State will win, but hopefully it'll be a close game. The last game, Harvard and Michigan State. I mean, Cincinnati's not very good. They struggled to score all year.
Yeah,
and Harvard took advantage of that. And Michigan State is on the up and up. They are playing incredibly well.
They're healthy. They're healthier than they've been all year. They're going to run. I don't think it's going to be a game. I mean,
they have this guy on their bench called Tom Izzo. Pretty smart guy.
I don't think it's going to be a game. I'm going Michigan State, 18 points. I think Harvard's going to shoot it well. But I think they're going to probably hit 12, 13 threes. But I think Michigan State's just going to outscore them. It's going to be, I think it'll be relatively high-scoring game, probably 88-70 Michigan State. I put a number out there on that one.
Payne played incredibly well yesterday.
Yes, he did.
Played amazing. One of the best performances probably by a single player yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, that was Friday.
Of the first round.
Right. Last game of the night, Connecticut and Villanova.
I'm not sold on Villanova. Haven't been sold on them all year. I'm going to go with Connecticut, but based solely on that. I was not a big fan of Villanova ever this year. I mean, I know they won 28 games. I know they played well in the Big East. I mean, they're riding the wave off the end of the Big East. We saw what happened with Providence, though, who got hot during the Big East tournament, came out. The competition is just not the same in the Big East.
You know what's surprising? They're 16-2 in the Big East, and those two losses, they lost by a combined 75 points. How could you lose 2 games by 75 points and that be your only 2 losses? Well, I guess that speaks to the weakness of the Big East outside of Creighton and Villanova. But
I'm going to take Connecticut, so there you go.
I didn't think they played real well against St. Joseph's.
No, I didn't either.
I don't think either one of them are very good. I like Villanova to advance, but I like them either to get beat in the Sweet 16. But
I agree with that as well.
Yeah. So that's the breakdown. Let's move ahead since we won't be on there again before Sunday. Break down Sunday's game. We already discussed the Wichita State Kentucky game.
And I'll say that if Julius Randle can play to the level that he played last night, there should be no trouble for Kentucky.
The first game tomorrow afternoon, Stanford and Kansas. Johnny Dawkins leading the Stanford Cardinals.
If Kansas was healthy, this wouldn't be a game.
I agree. But with Embiid not healthy,
and
everything's
Wiggins not being who we thought he was going to be this year, it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a good game, I think. I'm going to go with Kansas because I picked them in my bracket to come out and then lose to Ohio State. So that bracket's shot, but I'm still going to stick with Kansas, but I will not be surprised if Stanford does beat them.
I like Kansas to win here. It's hard to say how far they'll go in that bracket.
In this bracket now,
I mean, I think if Syracuse gets to them, Syracuse can probably beat them. I think if Dayton gets to them, they can probably beat them. I mean, it's an up-in-the-air deal with Kansas. Third game of the day, North Carolina at Iowa State.
I'm taking Iowa State in this one.
I'm going to stick with the ACC. I think, obviously, North Carolina didn't play very well, but Providence played pretty well there till the end, until they decided they didn't want to win. I like North Carolina to win that. I think Iowa State is a tad overrated. Probably didn't deserve a 3 seed. Now, a game that everybody will probably be looking forward to. Mm-hmm. One of the best games of the day, even though it's a 14-11, a play-in game winner, Mercer and Tennessee.
Yeah, this is the new play-in game system, and Tennessee's a lot better than what we think of when we think of playing games. We think of mid-majors that win their tournaments and then go play for a 16 seed to get beat.
That said, real quickly, I do not think teams that win their conference tournament should have to play in the playing game. Even though they might not be as good, if you win, which I don't think conference tournament should decide it anyways. Right. I think regular season champion should decide it, and then I think you should be in. And to call the first four the first round and not be able to play at the playing games is just absolutely ridiculous. But all that said,
this is going to be a game. Obviously, I had Duke winning here initially.
Yeah, me too.
But after watching Mercer, after reading about Mercer and doing some research on Mercer, I came up with what I thought you ought to watch this weekend, and I think that this is part of it. Let me give you some stats I've come up with on Mercer as we're talking.
Is this the what to watch?
This is the official what I think you should watch this weekend.
Oh. Sorry. Still having technical difficulties. It's time for What to Watch, brought to you by Snyder's Contact Lenses. Snyder's keeps you in the game, allowing you to see the entire playing field. Dan uses Snyder's, and so should you. Snyder's is the official contact lenses of the TD show.
So after TJ last week, not on the show, but just in life, was telling me about Mercer and how they're pretty good. This was on Monday night. I went home and I looked them up, looked up their record and stuff. And then when they beat Duke outside, I look up their season stats and just see how good they'd been. They're averaging almost 80 points a game, 79.2. They shoot about 30% from the field. They hit about 30 shots. I'm sorry. They shoot about 50%, 48% from the field,
which is really good.
That's freaking ridiculous. They're shooting about 40% from the 3-point line, 39% actually. They average 11 turnovers, 5 steals, and 4 blocks. They're fouling about 18 times a game, and they're allowing their opponent 66.5 points a game. So their average margin of victory is 13 points. They're giving up 30% from 3. Tennessee is only averaging 72 points a game. Their turnovers are about equal. They're averaging 11 points per game. They shoot 44%, which is 6% less, and they're shooting about 31% from 3, which is about 8% less. I think statistically Mercer has a huge advantage. What Tennessee has is that they've got hot, and they're playing hot at the right time.
And they have size. I think they'll be able to handle them in the paint. It's just a matter of if they can guard them.
But when you have a team that shoots 50% on the season and almost 40% from 3,
and they were handed
they
down,
can beat about anybody.
They got the Cinderella handy-downs from Florida Gulf Coast, who they beat in their conference championship.
Exactly,
so
yeah. They got the
luck is there.
Off. And I'm going to tell you that if Texas were to come out of that Michigan-Texas game, Mercer can beat Texas.
Yeah.
Well, they can go to the Elite Eight.
I think Tennessee could beat Texas, too.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying Mercer is going to beat Tennessee. I had Duke beating Tennessee, so I'll stick sort of with my bracket and have Mercer coming out of that, and I think it's going to be the best game, one of the best games of the weekend.
I agree. I think Mercer wins, but I think it's a really close game.
But when you've got people that are ice cold shooting 50%,
it's impressive.
That doesn't bother you to have a close game.
You're right.
We'll see what happens. Like I said,
the Duke Mercer game was right there the entire game.
And you come look when you come out of one of these mid majors and you get to the dance, it is you play outside of yourself. We've seen it so many times.
And Mercer starts 5 seniors. They have a combined 100 and
they're all playing for the last game ever. I like it. I I know I was late to get on the wagon. I was about 4 days behind TJ, so we'll give him credit. But I think that they're going to beat Tennessee, and I think they can. They'd have a harder time with Michigan, but I do think they can beat Texas. And I think Michigan could overlook them if they play the way they've been. If they do beat Tennessee, I mean, they can make it to the Elite Eight.
All right.
Well, heck, who knows what's going to happen, but they can make it to the Elite Eight easily.
Maybe back-to-back A-Sun Final Four teams.
We'll see what happens.
Moving to another Cinderella I like bandwagon I started, the Lumberjacks, Stephen F. Austin, and UCLA. I'll just go ahead and say I think Pac-12's terrible. I think Stephen F. Austin wins this game. I picked it in my bracket. I'm sticking with it.
Well, I had VCU. I had Stephen F. Austin. I filled out 2 brackets for 2 different things. I had Stephen F. Austin coming out and then losing to UCLA. So I'm going to stick with UCLA. But in my other bracket, I had VCU coming out and then beating UCLA. I did watch their entire game, and they did look good yesterday. It was their first win ever in an NCAA tournament.
I mean, when you're 32-2 and 18-0 in your conference, you're obviously not bad.
Right. So we'll see what happens with it. I'll say that UCLA is going to beat them because that's who I picked initially, and I'll stick with it. I'm just excited to watch it.
The Lumberjacks. Fear the Lumberjacks. Another really good game. A lot of good games Sunday. Baylor and Creighton. Mm-hmm. I really like Baylor. I really like Creighton. You know how I feel about Dougie McBaskets. So I think Creighton wins, but I think it'll be a really good game.
I have Creighton coming out of this game, and then I had Creighton losing to Oklahoma State in the Elite Eight.
Which will not happen.
Right. So I think that this bracket is Creighton's to take. Wisconsin has not been as good as they've lived up to be. I've never liked Arizona. I know they're the 1 seed, but I just haven't been on that wagon all year long.
Pac-12's weak.
So I like Creighton I think if Creighton can get by Baylor, this is their bracket for the taking.
It would be awesome to see Dougie McBaskets go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Just awesome. Second to last game of the day, number 1 Virginia in Memphis. Virginia looked terrible last night. Was down 31-21 to Coastal Carolina. Eventually came back.
Virginia looked like the Virginia that they should have been at the beginning of the year before they started.
Ended up winning by 11.
Virginia has had timing all year long. They've beat people at their worst all year long. You don't get people at their worst in the tournament.
All that said, Memphis didn't play very well either yesterday.
Yeah, that being said, I have Virginia advancing past Memphis because I like Memphis's coach a lot. I think he's have a great coach, one of the smartest basketball minds in America, in my opinion. But their talent level and their leadership on the court, I don't think is there. So I'm going to take Virginia in this game, and then they're going to lose to Michigan State in the Elite Eight.
I agree, Alex. Same like Virginia over
or the Final Four.
Losing to Tom Izzo and the
16.
Spartans. Last game of the night, Sunday night, Gonzaga and Arizona.
This is a game of 2 teams that have been overrated all year long.
One of them's got to win.
This is 2 teams that. Arizona, I think, will win this game, but they're not that good. They're going to end up Gonzaga. I didn't think should have made the tournament, and they are an 8 seed. So I'm going to give the win to Arizona because they have shown themselves in the Pac-12, regardless of how weak the Pac-12 has been this year. That they've came through it with 4 losses total. They've played well. They went on a long winning streak. They can put together a string of wins, but Gonzaga can shoot the 3, and that's about it. I'm gonna, unless this is a game where if you breathe on somebody, it becomes a foul. And there's no physicality.
I mean, it's out there in California where those games were played yesterday. Where, I mean, you'd make contact and it's a foul.
I do think that Arizona will be able to hold off Gonzaga, even though I think it's going to be a terrible game to watch. I don't know why they're putting it as the 8:40 game.
I'll fall asleep. No doubt about it. Put your money on it. Man, I tell you what, wide open for Arizona now, though. I think that them and the Pac-12's...
State's gone.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that Creighton and Arizona are going to meet in the Elite Eight, and that's going to be a showdown. So we'll see what happens.
We will see. We're going to go to break. When we come back, the Burkesville Bomber, John Allen, former EKU Colonel, will be
Hall of Famer, superstar.
That's right, all-century team. He will be back to talk We'll be back in about 5 minutes.